If you're a solopreneur, freelancer, or small business owner, you've probably spent a lot of time thinking about when you should elect S Corp status. But here's what most people never stop to ask. Should you be an S Corp at all? For some business owners who want to grow big, think IPO, international investors, multiple types of stock, a C Corp may be the smarter move. The problem is most of the content out there treats this like an obvious choice. S Corp saves you on self-employment taxes. C Corp is for big companies. End of story. But that's not the full picture. The structure you choose affects how you pay yourself, the way your business gets taxed, how you bring in investors, and the amount you're keeping at the end of the year. So, before you file anything, let's break down what these two mean and which one makes sense for the kind of business you're running or hoping to run. Let's start with the S Corp because that's what most solopreneurs are either already using or thinking about electing. An S Corp or S Corporation is not actually a separate type of business entity. It's a tax election. You're telling the IRS, I want my business to be taxed as an S Corporation. You can make that election with either legal entity, an LLC, or a legal corporation. So what does that mean in practice? When you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, the profit you earn is subject to self-employment tax. That's 15.3% on top of your income tax. On $100,000 in profit, you're handing over $15,300 just in self-employment tax before income tax even enters the picture. An S Corp election changes that. As an S Corp owner, you split your income into two buckets. First, you pay yourself a reasonable salary, which you do pay payroll tax on, but the remaining profit gets distributed to you as the owner, and distributions are not subject to self-employment tax. That's the tax savings everyone's talking about. If your business is profitable and growing, an S Corp election could save you thousands each year or more. By the way, hey y'all, I'm Nikita with Collective, where we eat, sleep, and breathe solopreneurship and finances. If you're still with me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with the latest content. Now, let's talk about the C Corp. A C Corporation is what most people picture when they hear the word corporation. It's a fully separate legal entity that files its own tax return and pays its own corporate level income taxes. And then, if it distributes profits to shareholders, those shareholders pay tax again on the dividend. That's what's called double taxation, and it's the main reason people steer away from C Corps. But what most people miss is that the C Corp tax rate is a flat 21%, and there are specific situations where that's actually advantageous. If you're a solopreneur planning to reinvest most of your profits back into the business, not take them as distributions, a C Corp can let you accumulate that capital at a lower tax rate. You pay 21% at the corporate level, and you're not pulling money out personally, so you're not triggering that second layer of tax. For a lot of solopreneurs running a business where this is their main source of income, they still need distributions and trigger double taxation. A C Corp is valuable if the money sits, like if this is not your primary source of income. C Corps are also typically the preferred structure that works for venture capital. If you're ever planning to raise outside investment, many investors require a C Corp. S Corps have strict ownership rules that make institutional investment nearly impossible. Let's put the two structures side by side so that you can see exactly where they diverge. On taxation, S Corps pass profits through to your personal tax return. You pay income tax at your individual rate. C Corps are taxed at the entity level, flat 21%, and distributions are taxed again. That's the double tax. On ownership, S Corps can only have up to 100 shareholders, and they all have to be U.S. citizens or residents. One class of stock only. C Corps have no limits on shareholders, can have foreign owners, and can issue multiple classes of stock on payroll. Both require you to pay yourself a reasonable salary if you're an active owner. Neither gets you out of that. On complexity, both require more administrative work than a sole proprietorship or simple LLC. Payroll, separate business accounts, annual filings for both, and a board of directors and meeting minutes if you're a C Corp. If you're not ready for that overhead, I gotta be honest, neither structure is right for you. Now, before we get into which one is right for you specifically, I wanna pause for a second because this is exactly the kind of decision that sounds manageable on a YouTube video, but gets complicated fast when it's your real business and your real money on the line. Once you're leaning towards a preference, it's worth talking with a professional about your actual business and numbers so you can pin down which one makes the most sense for your situation, okay? So which one might make sense for a solopreneur or small business owner? The honest answer is, for most solopreneurs, the S Corp is still the right call. Here's the simple test. If you are self-employed, you're actively working in your business, and you're taking home most of your profit as personal income, the S Corp election is almost certainly the better move. You're reducing self-employment tax on the profit above your salary. You're not reinvesting at the corporate level. The double taxation risk of a C Corp is a real risk for you. The S Corp math generally starts to make sense around $60,000 to $80,000 in annual net profit. Below that threshold, the cost of maintaining the structure, payroll processing, separate filings, additional admin often eats into whatever you'd save on taxes. Above that number, the savings can start to become consistent. Now, when does a C Corp start to make more sense? Scenario 1, you're planning to raise outside investment, venture capital, angel investors, institutional funding. S Corp ownership rules make this nearly impossible. If that's your path, you want a C Corp from day one. Scenario 2, you're in a high growth phase and reinvesting almost everything back into the business. If you're not pulling large distributions, the double tax problem mostly disappears, and the 21% corporate rate can actually be lower than your personal income rate. Scenario 3, you're building something to sell. C Corps can offer more flexibility on how a sale is structured, especially if you're looking at investor exits or certain acquisition structures. I do want to talk about the piece that doesn't get enough attention: timing. With an S Corp, there are IRS deadlines. If you want an S Corp status to apply to the current tax year, you need to file Form 2553 within 75 days of business formation or by March 15th of the tax year you want the election to take effect. Miss that window and you're waiting until next year or doing a ton of catch-up work for a late election. With a C Corp, you can convert later, but converting an S Corp to a C Corp has tax consequences. Same in reverse. It's not impossible, but it's not clean. The cleanest move is getting the right structure in place before you're generating significant revenue, not retrofitting after. That's why the most expensive decision most solopreneurs make isn't choosing wrong, it's waiting too long to choose anything at all. Every year you spend as a sole proprietor above $60,000 in profit without an S Corp election is money you don't get back. So here's what I want you to take away from all this. S Corp versus C Corp is a math problem, not a question about which structure sounds more legitimate. And the math depends on your specific revenue, growth plan, and what you're building toward. For most solopreneurs earning $60,000 or more in annual profit who are not planning to raise outside capital, the S Corp election is going to save you money. For example, our S Corp members save an average of $10,000 a year just by optimizing their structure. If you're still not sure which path fits your business, that's exactly what we're here for. Visit collective.com, answer a few questions about where your business is today, and we'll show you what makes sense for your situation. Thanks for sticking with me. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you still have questions about S Corp versus C Corp, drop them down below. I'm happy to answer them. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.